artificial intelligence. It is either going to revolutionize gaming or replace your favorite. Get a load of this idiot. Anyways, AI is unavoidable in today's world, and gaming is no different. While promising to be the most revolutionary piece of technology to ever come to the gaming industry, AI has been received both positively and negatively by gamers, developers, and the suits of the industry. How exactly is AI affecting the industry? Why are developers and big studios dropping everything and just changing to AI? Will it take everyone's job, or it will simply make us create more uninspired and bland games? Let's take a look into the most ethical slave that humans have created in history: AI. Let's talk about AI, more specifically about AI in the gaming industry. But first, we need to understand the AI industry in general. And if any clarification was further needed, I'm not talking about AI as in NPCs, Alexa, or a simple chatbot. I'm talking about generative AI, aka that AI that generates stuff for you. The AI industry is at an all-time high. We are experiencing one of the biggest and fastest growing industries in human history, with an estimated value of $279 billion in 2024 and an expected value of $3.5 trillion by 2033. The biggest players in the industry at the moment are Microsoft, which owns 49% of OpenAI, aka ChatGPT, Google with their main model Gemini, Adobe by integrating AI in their creative softwares, and of course, Nvidia, the main player in the stock market in this past decade as well as in the AI industry. Their chips are the main processors used to give power and life to these generative AI models, positioning themselves as the main supplier and power source of basically all AI. Funny enough, all these companies mentioned before are among the few of them that actually make profits in this industry. The rest of the industry is simply at a loss or just not making profit yet, which is normal for an industry like AI that it's in a growth state. It still gets you thinking that even in an industry where most companies are not generating a profits yet, you still have everyone jumping into this AI hype with a new service or product promising to be life-changing and revolutionary, when in reality, it ends up being just another way of using ChatGPT. And it is even more interesting to see that the biggest player in this industry at the moment is Nvidia, a company that works as the provider of all these other innovative and life-changing companies that are arising. A company that simply provides the power source to be able to generate an AI model. And all of the other companies that I just mentioned are also making profits, but mainly because they were already established companies, and two, because they just implemented AI into already existing successful products that they already had, like Microsoft into their operating systems, or Adobe into Photoshop, or even PDF readers. As of now, the AI industry doesn't seem to be so revolutionary or innovative, especially when each new product or service or company release seems to be doing the same over and over again. It certainly looks like an industry that is growing, and it is being inflated by the amount of hyped up people that enters and inject money into it. It is actually awfully similar to the dot-com bubble in the year 2000. And let me tell you something, if the whole AI industry to you with this short description seems to be a bubble at the moment, let me tell you a secret. Here, come closer. It might be because it fucking is. As everything in life, when something gets too much hype or becomes too big, it is inevitable to start seeing it in other areas of life. And AI was no indifferent to the gaming industry. Generative AI has opened the door and lowered the barrier of entry into the industry and creating games. Now, you don't need to be an expert coder to make a bean move in Unity. You don't need to be Picasso to generate good 3D models or even concept art. And you can even ask AI to create sound, music, or voice acting for your game. AI opened the door to a bunch of people that wanted to do game development but never got into it because they thought their skills didn't match up with the ones in the industry. It has also helped establish studios or big players in the industry, optimizing processes, reducing tedious work that was done by humans, and even helping them produce or generate assets faster. So this is great, right? We get more games available to us players, and also more games means that more studios are being created, aka generating more jobs. And the quality of games in theory should go up, since now companies have more resources and abilities and hands to create better games, more optimization, and even better assets. It's all great. Well, yes and no. On the one hand, smaller studios have reported better productivity or workflow thanks to AI, as they found easier ways to localize games into different languages, script faster, or simply reduce repetitive tasks. And even AAA studios have been investing pretty hard into AI. Aside from reporting better workflows due to AI like small studios, you have cases like Ubisoft, that they are creating an AI model that helps create deeper and richer narrative for NPC dialogues. Or you have companies like EA or Take-Two that are using AI to test mechanics and optimize them. But on the other hand, you find out that some high-level employees of important AAA companies opt to implement mediocre development processes. Or that there's a huge new wave of poorly made and optimized AI slot games, that companies are cutting corners just to save money in the development process. And probably my biggest gripe with AI in the industry, in how some studios, especially big ones, have gone the route of trying to deceive players into sneaking in AI generated assets into their game and just expecting that people will not notice. And even worse, that sometimes they try to monetize on these and sell them as products that they created. And this deceit by these companies goes from trying to pass AI generated content as human to all of the problems that surround AI learning models, with getting inspiration when generating art from other sources, or in other words, copyright infringement, which really can't be enforced to an AI nowadays. As you can expect, the reaction from players and workers in the industry is mainly negative surrounding AI. From the player side, you have this problem that you are paying for a game that you have been anticipating for so long, and you expect that developers have put care and love into the creation process of it. But then you get these AI generated assets in the game and you just feel cheated. And from the insiders in the industry, like artists, coders, designers, etc., the reception is also mainly negative, since you have these executives trying to push AI initiatives that are not even ready or up to par to the standards of creating a game. The only people that are really pushing for AI in the industry are either the suits, the business bros, or casual gamers that overall they just don't care. They will buy their CODs and their FIFAs and just call it a day and be happy with what they have. But there are still some games that have banked on AI and went all in into the development process and even marketing it, and it has paid off, receiving positive reviews from players and even being able to release a decent looking game. And it is all thanks to that unspoken trust that is formed between players and developers in the process of buying and playing a game. Let's look at a phenomenal example for positive reception of a game that relied heavily on AI on its gameplay and even development process. Inzoi. The so-called Sims killer brought a new sense of realism to these types of games, and it is sitting at a comfortable 78% positive review rate on Steam right now. And they have disclosed every single process that includes AI during the development, as well as how AI has been implemented into the game. They went with an approach of full transparency since the beginning. And the developers even utilized the use of AI for press releases or marketing purposes, and kind of use it as a unique selling point when marketing their game. This is one of the biggest reasons on why this game haven't been reviewed bombed or disregarded by players, because the developers were honest. The game utilizes AI in two main ways. The first one is all about customization. You can use it to generate clothing, to generate 3D decorations inside your house, and even wall textures inside. The second one is a way smaller system that drives the NPC interactions. This AI model takes care of how NPCs will think, how they talk, or what they do in their day-to-day lives. And you know what? Overall, it has kind of been a smooth sailing for Inzoi so far. far. Even though there has been a bit of controversy within the AI use of Inzoi in the game, but mainly because players were worried that Inzoi's AI was using copyrighted material to generate these decorations or images in-game. Inzoi replied to this controversy saying that they built their own AI system and trained it in-house without any exposure to the internet. But some images online with socks inside Inzoi containing images of Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse said quite the contrary. But anyways, when we look at the reviews, most of the negative reviews of Inzoi comes from the point that the game is still in a very early access state and is not as deep as The Sims. But many players have left positive reviews, optimistic about the future of the game, and have been very apologetic because they understand that it is in early access. And even though they did receive a little bit of a review bomb when all of this copyright drama issue was going on, Inzoi had still held strong and they possess a decent player base, and it is not seen as an AI slop game by the community. And all of this because of the trust that I was talking about. When you as a player buy a game, you are trusting that the developer, when developing the game, had the intention to deliver the best possible experience to you as a player. And you are also banking on the fact that this game was created by a person and not delegated to a machine. But in the case that the latter was the case, you expect that at least you get a disclosure or an explanation from the developers. And that is exactly what Inzoi did. Transparency. They never tried to hide it, they didn't feel embarrassed about using it, and they even praised the use of AI in their game. And that transparency helped Inzoi to be judged as any other game that has never used AI, because players felt that Inzoi developers could be trusted. And this type of openness works, and it is liked by players. We don't like to be tricked. We don't like to be treated as we are stupid and we are never gonna realize that something is off in a game we're playing. Another positive example of AI usage and openness could be this game called AI Roguelite, which is sitting at an 83% positive review rate on Steam right now. It is a fully AI generated text-based RPG, and they don't hide it one bit. They have AI in their name, the first line of their description mentions the use of AI, and in their disclosure, they quote that they heavily rely on the use of AI for the game creation. Once again, by being open about the use of AI, this game managed to be on an even playing field with other non-AI created games, and being able to be judged by players as an equal. This game does not fall within the category of AI slump games, and it has had a good reception by players. I might never play it because I am just not interested in this type of games, but in my eyes, they get a gold star, and honestly, I don't demonize them one bit. But a game that I don't respect, I don't love, and I actually demonize for using AI at the moment is a game that I actually used to love. And I used to love so much that I have done probably more than 4,000 hours in these games, and I even went fully competitive into it. I'm talking about Call of Duty. The downfall of this franchise, it's a video of its own, and a video that I would like to explore in the future. But anyways, we're not gonna talk about that in this video. I'm mentioning COD as to show in how not to use AI in the industry, especially when it comes from a company that reports $5.5 billion in revenue. Black Ops 6 broke records, becoming the COD with the best launch date ever. But even with the sales success, COD is still sitting at a 41% review rate on Steam, and it has been highly criticized by fans of this franchise. The negative reviews for COD on Steam include comments on its poor campaign, poor optimization, or how it even feels like the same game as last year. I know, shocker. However, the most noteworthy problem, or most memorable one, with Black Ops 6 was their use of generative AI in generating assets like loading screens, calling cards, or cosmetics that were locked behind a paywall. This multi-billion-dollar company not only placed AI-generated assets in a final game, or we might as well say product at this point, that they sell at $70, but they also played AI-generated cosmetics in paid bundles that you buy with real life money. Aside from all the problems that I have with COD becoming more of a marketplace than a game, it is a huge slap on the face to lock a cosmetic that you didn't even create behind a $20 paywall. And to add salt to the injury, this controversy came a couple of months after the release of COD, and COD never even came with a statement denying or accepting the fact that it is actually AI. They simply updated their AI disclosure on their Steam page, saying that they used AI to generate some in-game assets. This situation alone shows so many problems. You have created a game that relies so much in the constant and fast production of cosmetics to be sold that instead of hiring real-life artists to generate fun or nice cosmetics to give to your players, you go straight to AI to help you with these fast and overbearing production periods. And then you sell it as your own without even disclosing it. As a company, you have millions of dollars dedicated for an employee budget to hire more artists to generate these cosmetics for you. And if for some weird reason you already feel that you have the appropriate amount of artists and don't want to hire any more to help you with this production cycle, then it is probably time to step back and be a little bit self-aware and realize that the direction that you have been taking this game might not be the one anymore. I do realize that this game, by just simply being COD, even if they did disclose the use of AI assets since the beginning, they would have still get shit on, simply because they're COD. But at least players could have been a little bit more understanding with those free loading screens that you just have between games. But I still think that no one would ever understand why would you even put AI generated assets behind paywalls. This example of COD simply exemplifies one of the biggest threats that AI brings to the gaming industry. Big studios drop their quality standards even further just to meet deadlines or increase profits. And instead of bringing in people that are passionate or have the desire to create games, they delegate this task to machines. The industry, it's at a risk that all the big players will start using AI generated assets in their game or trying to sneak them in, and you as a player are paying elevated prices like $70, $80 or even $90 for a game that was created by a prompt. If COD already lost almost all of their trust from their player base, this last stunt might as well just sink them even further. But unfortunately, this franchise will keep selling and will still bring billions of dollars in revenue each year they release. Because as we have already seen, voting with your wallet in this industry is very hard. If you have reached this point of the video, you might be thinking that I'm one of those people that rejects AI, or that thinks that it is the end of humans as we know it and human existence. Well, just to clarify, I'm not one of those, and I actually think that AI has a lot of positive uses, just like I showed in the beginning, especially in small indie studios. And it would be hypocritical of me to sit here giving you all this spiel and not admitting that I also use ChatGPT from time to time. My main problem though comes from how is it used. I believe that AI, in the state that we find it right now, can be very beneficial to humans. For coding, it can be very beneficial in writing blocks of code that are either very tedious to write down or repetitive. It is a wonderful tool for investigation purposes as long as you're fact-checking the sources that the AI is throwing at you, and even for quick spelling or grammar mistakes, it can be a great tool too. AI is wonderful for this, and these purposes that I just explained are exactly for what I use it on my day-to-day life or a couple of times a week. My problem comes then when we as humans use it to replace our thinking power, or most importantly, our creative power. As a developer or as a YouTuber, I would never sit in front of ChatGPT and just type, please write me the next script for this video, or please just write me from scratch this whole code. We need to understand that in creative processes, the single most important factor is the human touch. The human touch, the human way of problem solving, or the human way of creating things. These are the things that give a soul to any creative project or project that you're working on. And if you're replacing all these factors with a prompt or a machine spitting 1,000 words at you and putting them into a game or a creative project, you're doing something wrong. We can't let AI replace what makes us unique and what makes our creations unique. If you're coding, at least make the attempt to problem solve in your head or on a piece of paper before going into ChatGPT. If you're level designing, try and sketch it out first in a software or on a paper how you want the layout to be. If you're creating a story, simply brainstorm or just write down whatever comes to your mind first. Don't go into an AI model straight up and ask how to start or what to do or just give me the answer. Because if we do that, what we create will feel soulless, bland, or repetitive. There is a reason why nowadays it is so easy for us humans to either spot AI art in a post or seeing an AI reel or AI short. They are lacking that human touch. And even if or when AI reaches these hyper-human realistic standards of graphics, there will still be that missing factor. Think about it. There is a reason why not every hyper-realistic game is famous or a success, and why sometimes those games are beaten by wonky 3D polygons or even 2D art, because those games can still transmit something to us. And I also don't think that AI in the state that it is right now poses a huge threat to our jobs in this industry. They will not be replacing humans anytime soon, and there are already some cases that show it, where in other industries companies went all in on AI replacing humans and they just had to backtrack in a year or so because AI couldn't keep up with the necessities of the company. I don't even think that the biggest issue with AI at the moment is even the copyright issues or art being stolen. Don't get me wrong, it is a huge problem, but it is not the biggest. Because at the end of the day, in the gaming industry, for example, games that have human art will always succeed on top of the ones that have fully generated AI art. I think that the biggest problem that AI poses today to the industry is game developers falling into this pit or repetitive cycle of releasing games that are bland or with no substance, because they relied way too much on AI during the creative process. Games that might play differently but end up feeling the same, or simply games that don't end up connecting with you as a player. I wanna be hopeful, and I even have this wild prediction that AI might actually help the gaming industry in terms of jobs. If this wave of soulless games end up hitting the industry at some point, I feel that the industry will have to adapt, and studios will go out there looking for new designers, artists, and even coders. The ones that do not use AI and are able to create something that makes them stand out from all this wave of AI games. I don't despise AI, and I don't think it will be our end. I simply think that as humans, we're approaching AI in a very dangerous way, a way that is killing the one thing that makes us unique as humans, our creativity. I understand that this AI topic could have gone in any direction, and so many directions really, and so much more could have been said. But today, I wanted to show you what, in my opinion, are the biggest threats to the industry, as well as show how AI is not always our enemy in this industry and can be correctly implemented by studios and developers. And as always, we came to the conclusion that developers treating their players like smart human beings and treating them with honesty and respect ends up being translated in a positive player reception. And the next time that you're about to start a creative project, instead of going straight to ChatGPT for an outline or how to start or even do the project for you, try and challenge yourself to sit down and think on how to do it. Try to problem solve yourself, try to find creative ideas in how to do it, or simply brainstorm. We desperately need more human touch in the creative outputs that are being released nowadays. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please drop a like, subscribe, and even go to my channel to check any of my other videos, since they might pique your interest just like this one. I'm a channel that loves to talk about games, the industry, or how business and games mix. So I hope you like the rest of my channel. I hope you guys have a good one, and I'll see you in the next one. Waka waka waka.